Good afternoon and welcome to the second episode of AUSMUN Podcast. My name is Srinidhi Mukund and I'm going to be your host for today. Our guest for today is the Director of Human Resources, the one and only Fatima Hassim. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, hi, I'm Fatima Hassim, and I'm a junior year student majoring in management. I'm switching in between majors, so excuse that. But right now, I'm serving as the Director of Human Resources at AUSMUN 2025, and last year, I served as Deputy Director of AUSMUN 2024. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. If you guys have seen our media on Instagram, then you guys know that we just have wow posts one after another. So, thank you for taking out the time and having me.
Thank you for being here. Firstly, could you tell us what drew you to the HR team?
So I've been doing MUNs for quite some time now, around 8 years. I've served in several positions, starting from a delegate to a chair to a moderator, a pager, as well as interning at some point. So MUN has always been familiar to me, and I did move here. So as an international student, MUN was one similar thing that I found at AUS. So surprisingly, HR was not my first department. So I started exploring departments, and at the time, the art director was a good friend of mine, and I found that it was quite interesting. And I'm also involved in other extracurriculars around campus. So PR is kind of my department as well. So I related that to external relations, and I joined the team as an external relations member, now led by our very famous, very beloved director, Irene Tony. So yeah, that's where I started. And after that, I've kind of gotten the taste of AUS MUN, and I went into certain committee sessions and I saw the chairs, I saw the pagers, and I knew I had to be a part of the HR team after that. Later on in the year, applications opened for deputy director, and I was like, oh, I have to apply. I applied and I got interviewed and I got taken in, and I would say I had such a growth, I had such a learning experience there. And Alhamdulillah, I was able to join as director this year.
And congratulations on that, on being the Director of Human Resources. But could you tell us more about your delegate experience?
So as a delegate, I have attended several conferences. Just like everyone, I started off around seventh grade, eighth grade, and then COVID hit. So I do have experiences online. I think another notable conference that I enjoyed was probably Harvard MUN in 2019, one of my most prestigious experiences, I would say. Besides that, I was also able to represent AUS as a delegation in Qatar at GQMUN. It was an amazing experience. I went with well experienced colleagues of mine. I was placed in the CSW committee. Amazing committee, amazing chairs. Overall, an amazing experience, I would say. And it's also obviously amazing to represent AUS at such a global level as well.
So after being a delegate, you moved on to leadership roles. Like you were the deputy director of HR, now the director of HR. So how did that shape your understanding of the workings of the organizers team of AUSMUN?
That's actually quite a complicated question. So I think once I moved into the ER team, I did get a little bit of insights on how the organizers work. And it was really amazing to see how people come together. And last year, I was able to be a part of building my own team, and I was there to facilitate everything. And this year, I am so happy. I'm super happy to have picked my very own team of 126 people, including chairs,
Wow.
pagers, and waitlist chairs as well. That's something we're trying out this year. So it's been a wonderful experience. As of understanding the team, I think I fully understand what works within a team and the dynamics of a team. I feel like this entire process is 100% a trial and error process. And I feel like being a deputy director, I watched what worked and what didn't work. And this year, I would have to say it has fully helped me develop a sort of understanding on how to handle my very own team. So that's
amazing.
exciting.
126 team members. The selection process must have been extremely challenging. How did that go?
100%. So last year also I was a part of the recruitment process. So I knew what worked last semester and didn't work last semester. So I would like to say I fully had a plan going in. This year, I had the opportunity to personally interview at least most, if not all, of my team members. So for the chairs, we had a selection process via their applications, a screening of their applications, and then post that we had one-on-one interviews with every single one of them. So this is something that we did. And for pagers, we had them send in videos on why they want to be a participant. So obviously I had help from my amazing deputies who I would like to quickly shout out. Shout out Rima, Asil, and Shania. I'm so happy to have them on my team. They're always my source of support, 100%. So we interviewed everyone one-on-one. We had comments, we had questions for everyone, and I'm super happy on how the recruitment process went this semester. And we have quite a few qualities that we look for in chairs, and I think I've found my team, and I'm super happy with how it's going and the progress of how our team is.
Well said. And what were the qualities that you looked for in your team members?
So I had the opportunity to like speak for like 2-3 minutes at the general meeting as well about my team and what the qualities I'm looking for. So obviously as a chair, 100% I was looking for experienced candidates. I was looking for people who had the leadership quality to control and maintain the decorum within a committee room. And obviously the pagers, I was looking for somebody who had good communication skills and had good cohesion like with the room in itself. So I think that's some of the qualities that I was looking for. Besides that, out of all of these qualities, I think one main quality that I emphasized every single time is probably kindness. I think that is 100% the key driving factor that I've used this year. Moreover, kindness to the delegates, because the delegates could be experienced, not experienced, or however the delegate is, the ability to handle the delegates, the ability to handle the room comes from the kindness and understanding that every team member is to display. So I think this is like a rough overview of what I looked for in my candidates.
You answer so well, by the way. And how do you manage your big team and like how do you keep them motivated, especially with how fast pacing the MUN conference is?
Stepping onto this role, I had several people giving me advice, several people who have been in my role before, several people who have experienced MUNs before, my very own SG and DSG. They had several perspectives on how to handle my very own team. They were like, oh, like, when the director is really stern and strict, it really works out. The chairs are like on track. When the director is a little too lenient, the chairs don't work or the dynamics don't work as well. So I think getting all of that input at the end of the day, what I did follow through was my own approach. I feel like what I did with my very own candidates or like my own team is that I fully went through with the polite way of asking them how to work and how to do things. So as of now, we've had, I think, 2 completed training sessions, and we've also had them submit their background guides. So during this process, I've had no delays. I've not had much issues with any of my chairs. I feel like being understanding and giving them a lending ear really does help. I would say asking them politely to finish their work, my 120 member team has done excellent. I feel like my approach definitely worked best because at the end of the day, we're all students and everyone's understanding. So I feel like this approach is how I keep them on track, how I keep them motivated. That really helps.
So it's not just the chairs and pagers. So you also approach people with kindness. Yeah, and that's nice. And how has being a part of AUSMUN shaped your university life?
I think AUSMUN has given me a lot of connections. I would like to say a lot of friendships. I think one thing that I would like to take pride in is that I almost know all of my team members personally because I went through their videos, I went through their recruitment, so I know all of them. So connections and friendships would be number one. It has also given me leadership skills, and this is something that I'm going to talk about for the rest of my life, that I led a team of 120 people. So this is like a great achievement for me as well. It has also given me the communication skills as in like how to communicate and how to work around people. I would say it has also given me team management skills and project management skills in a sense, because at the end of the day, it is one big project and my team members are all working towards it. So I think that's something that I've taken away from it. Besides that, in university, it has also given me a little bit of fame with the video going around. I've had multiple people approach me regarding that.
So the intro video, your team's introduction line was, "We are the people behind the people," right? So who coined that phrase and where did that come from?
So I'm going to be fully honest. as if the media deputy director coined that phrase. And honestly, the entire filming process was so fun and honestly such a wonderful experience. But I would say I do relate with the word. I do think we're the people behind the people. At the end of the day, apart from the delegates who are the absolute face of AUS MUN, my chairs and my pagers are gonna be the face of AUS MUNs. They are the ones who are representing our conference or who are representing the university. So I do believe that we are the people behind the people. At the end of the day, me and my deputies are also backing them. So I would say it really does resonate so well with my team.
So for this year, you guys are the people behind the people.
We are the people behind the people.
Okay. So what are your hopes and goals for the HR team this year?
So as I talked about before, since I've picked my team with excellent candidates who are so kind and wonderful, I think one thing that they all displayed in their interview, like one common thing that they displayed would be the fact that they're all kind to their delegates. So one takeaway or like one goal, which is the most important goal that I have for AUSMU in 2025, is that the delegates enjoy their experience to their most fullest. At the end of the day at a conference, we always have conflicts. So I think another thing is to have minimum conflicts, at least internally within the HR team and also with the delegates as well, because this is something that we face towards the end of the conference every year. This year, we're trying our best to minimize that, to minimize equality, justice, and fairness, because at the end of the day, we are at a mock United Nations. So I think those are one of the key principles that we're trying to keep in mind, even within our HR team. And besides that, I think one big goal of the entire conference is to create like an environment where our delegates can have such dynamic, informed, and quality conversation amongst themselves. In the meanwhile, having fun.
Yeah.
Most importantly.
Yeah. And I really hope whatever you're envisioning for HR team this year works out. And also, how is it like working with the other departments of AUSMUN, specifically the media team?
I have to say, it has actually been such a wonderful experience working with people who are so talented and so remarkable. I am so happy to say that before we met as AUSMUN directors, we've been friends before. And knowing them and getting the opportunity to work with such remarkable individuals, I think is such a huge milestone for me in my university life as well. Besides that, the cohesion between our departments are going so well. Our meetings are fun. We enjoy AUS MUN. So I think that is something that really works out with us as a team in itself. Besides that, the SG and the DSG do have their own friendship going on in between meetings, but besides that, everything's going well. We're super happy to work together. And about the media team, it has been an absolute delight working with them. Working with Sarah in like other clubs and other university endeavors, I have to say she's such a wonderful director. You guys are definitely enjoying your experience for sure.
We are.
But yeah, obviously with the quality content that's coming out with the website and with the content on Instagram, so that's definitely something for us also to look forward to.
Before we wrap this up, do you have any final tips that you want to give to our delegates that are joining AUSMUN 2025?
Of course, I think what we're looking for here is to create an environment for you guys where you guys can have good conversations and actually have a good experience at the end of the day. I am also the director of HR, so I am going to point this out. Work on your position papers. Don't give us AI position papers. Work on your position papers. Do your research. Be proud of the country you're representing. That way you get to enhance and give them a good voice in whatever committee you're in. Do your research. Be well-rounded with your topic. So that's one tip. And I think another important tip is to enjoy yourself. If you feel uncomfortable, don't feel hesitant to reach out to the chairs. My team is there to help you out with every step, so feel free.
And thank you so much for joining us.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Thank you so much for joining us on the second episode of AUSMUN Podcast. See you soon.